Welcome back to BlueTraX Reviews. It's been a while since I did one of these, but my latest Plarail model has finally arrived after 2 attempts to ship it. It's finally here, so I wanted to do a review of the new Plarail Rebecca. I've been anticipating this model for a long time, actually. Despite the way the show is going now, not that I want to comment too much in that video. Obviously, it's not my favorite, but I was interested when they brought a Plarail Pacific into the show, and I thought her model was still interesting, despite the surrounding events as far as her arrival goes. So I'm going to review it today and just kind of go over my thoughts and on the model and the character and so forth. So let's go ahead and get into it. So my initial thoughts. Overall, I have a good impression of the model. It's proportionate. I compared it to Gordon like as soon as I got it, and it's pretty nice. It's a little bit taller, but I think she's a little bit taller on the show, so that's fine. There's some really cool things and some really not cool things, so let's go ahead and talk about those. It's accurate in a few senses, like the rivets are all pretty much there, which I find impressive even on a toy, or especially on the toy. I guess I thought the Northwestern was like a little more stylized on the tender, but that might have been early promo, because now it's like the old font that they used like pre 2005 Thomas for here, which is kind of neat actually. It's a nice reference, but I don't know if that's how it looks on the show or not. I haven't been paying much attention. I know the color scheme on this one is reduced from the show. It's black on the top instead of navy, I believe, which I think also goes for the bottom stripe on the tender as well. I personally, I know there's a lot who don't like that. I personally think this looks better. It looks neater to have it black. Honestly, the choice of having yellow in general is kind of rough on the eyes, but this is probably a better version of that. It's kind of mixed. I don't like all the stripe here. It looks like a post-privatization paint scheme, which kind of doesn't match the era of what Thomas is supposed to be, which is my main beef, but that's not something most people are going to care about. But yeah, it's not a direct match to the show, and it's a little more, takes a little more liberty than I think is tradition, so I can see why that might be a gripe. So accuracy, probably give it 8.7 out of 10. Some smallies here. There's no driver windows again. Disappointed, because there's obviously space for it. And then they didn't bother to paint in her buffers, at least. I know the whole beam is red, which is another issue, but that's the show's fault, not the toy's fault. And it doesn't even bother me as much, but you could paint just a little bit of black here, sir. Like buffers, coupling, not asking for a whole lot. Maybe the headlamp thingies too. But that's what we got. So I'll just have to color those in. It's been going on for a few years now. The face is good, it matches the show. A very usable character overall. I actually kind of like how they introduced Rebecca. I hate how they introduced her in a way, but as far as her role being kind of like a mentee for Gordon, is actually really interesting. Like if they had to do this, it's gonna force him to change a little bit, and it's kind of neat. A neat concept, nothing else. So, but I'm kind of mixed on this. I like the model, looks good on set. It doesn't look really that outlandish compared to some of my other members, like you, or you, actually. Pretty normal. But she'll fit in. I definitely plan to incorporate her into the series. I'm probably not going to do it the same way as the main show for reasons. Oh, the only other item is the wheels are spoked instead of bullied like Neville. I don't know. I know Plarail made them before. They have the molds, so like, why not? Why not go for it? But that's a small problem, honestly. Like, it's not gonna make or break. Plus, the show didn't even do them right, so that might be a blessing in disguise. She looks good with like the express coaches. I got some new red ones recently, so I've been using them like every video. But yeah, that's my overall take on the model. Pluses and minuses. Frankly, I'm kind of at a loss. I don't really know what else to say about this. It's pretty standard as far as features and things they got right, things they got wrong. Like, nothing out of the blue. I don't know, just like something's missing with this. I don't know if it's just the paint, but like that usually doesn't bother me, at least for the buffer beams. It's just, I think the color scheme is what's throwing me off the most about this model. And again, like, this is just the show. This is what they make now. I kind of miss the way, like, even unusual characters like Hank still had a recognizable, like, paint pattern, you know? Like, boiler bands and the like. And I know this is a different model, but it just looks, she looks really gimmicky. Compared to the others. I'm gonna move, the lighting's kind of whack on that side. Like, you know, like Nia too. I don't hate them as characters as much, but the way that they paint them is like to grab attention, and it doesn't fit in the universe very well. Rebecca's she's not as bad, especially like now that they just, on the toy anyway, she's just got the black top. Honestly, they should have done that for the front facing as well. But it's all complicated. Yellow's just not the color. I would have preferred green, but I guess Emily's green, and that would ruin their quota, their girl power quota for the STEAM team. So I don't know. I think there are a lot of things, there are a lot of reasons that Rebecca is the way that she is, and it's not organic. It's very manufactured. I mean, she still works as a character, but just like the color and whatnot. Anyway, she definitely has a lot of story potential as far as like newer characters in general, but also like newer female characters. Like, she has dimensions, which I appreciate, so I intend to capitalize on that at some point. There are plenty of other characters who need the spotlight, so we'll take it in stride. But I guess to sum up, for the Plarail Rebecca model, I would say, it's the lowest I think I've gone. I'm gonna go with an 8 out of 10. And again, it's not that the model looks particularly bad. I mean, maybe to some people, but it's noticeably incomplete this time. Plarail, I know you're working hard and trying to stay afloat, but there's some stuff that even I'm not gonna let slide. And I like a few changes, like the new Rosie. I didn't mind that the boiler bands were gold and that the wheels were a different color. Or wait, no, her bands were white. Either way, I liked those changes versus these are just being kind of lazy. Please paint the buffers. They're not watching this, I'm wasting my breath. But those would be my gripes. Tender design is kind of cheap on second thought, but it's not regrettably inaccurate, so I'll leave it be. But yeah, 8 out of 10. It'll do. I'll probably do some slight mods to it to bring it up to par, except for the wheels, because I don't care that bad. But yeah, I hope you found this informative if you're considering buying one. I mean, are you not going to? This is still, for me, it's always going to be loads better than Trackmaster, simply for compatibility and just the power, the pulling power of these engines. So, yeah, now that Fisher-Price or Mattel is on the brain, get it anyway, paint it up if you need to. But yeah, it's not my favorite, to say the least. Thanks for tuning in, though, for another BlueTraX reviews. Let me know which model you'd like me to review next. I have so many, and I've done like not even 10 of these review videos, so I'd appreciate any ideas. Until next time.